You'll have to bear with me, guys. The camera, I wanted to get close enough that you can actually see what's going on in here. So if I go like this, you're going to cut my head off. So yeah, here we are. Okay, got the SAS card. This is a different model, but it's very similar. This is the Dell Perk or something like that, Park 6i, and I needed the one without the Park, just the Dell 6i. It gives you, these are SAS connectors, and you get adapter cables like this that plug into these, and they just get them right side up, and they go right side up. Here we go. Click, goes click, and then we've got 4 SATA cables off the end of it. Goes to normal SATA hard drives. As I understand it, they have to be SATA 2, not SATA 1 drives, and they can't be more than 2 terabytes with these particular controllers. That one is good because you can flash the standard LSI firmware onto it, and it becomes a standard hard drive controller. It takes the RAID part out of it and lets the software RAID in FreeNAS take over, the ZFS or ZFS, which sounds kind of neat. Anyways, funny thing about these is pins 5 and 6 need to be taped over or otherwise disabled. I'll see if I can get a photo embedded in this video. What I did was I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You could see traces coming off 5 and 6 heading off somewhere else in the board, and there was a big, they were all by themselves heading across the board. So I just took a screwdriver and scratched through those traces real well, and poof, they're no longer connected. Some people say put some electrical tape over those pins, but I don't want electrical tape coming off and getting stuck in my socket. If you don't tape over those 2 pins or otherwise disable them, the motherboard won't post, at least on Intel chipset boards, and it doesn't seem to be any generation limits. The reason, that's some like SM bus communications protocol, and it's intended for server motherboards, and when it's not a server motherboard, it just keeps it from posting. This is like a $35 motherboard from Fry's. It's just a standard socket 1150 board. I don't know, it claimed to be military grade components, so you know, it's whatever. Not quite server grade, but somehow it's military grade. The biggest problem I'm having is this board is so far over here that these cables just aren't long enough to reach to the back of the drive. See, I've got to go from here around the back into the drives in these bays. Here I've got 2 that just barely reach to these top 2 drives. 3 and 4, I can't make it to that drive, this drive here, with this cable. And cable 1 will actually reach because it's closer to that drive. So this 1 and 2 are actually from the back port. This 3 and 4 are from the front port. That's why those reach. Let's swap these around some. Okay, so there's the wrong 1 and 2 here. There's a problem with these things. They're slightly labeled, which is nice. They've got little 1 and P2, but I kind of need a P1A, P1B kind of thing, so I can actually tell front port from rear port. Okay, I've got 3 and 4 from the rear connector, so these are the farthest back on the card, and they just flat won't reach either of these drives here. I'm going to try and come straight down and get one of these 2 drives down here, but I suspect that won't work either. There we go, 3 and 4, okay. Hey, what do you know? They do reach. Or one of them does. Let's try the other one. Bingo! Cool. This is good news. Now, if I can get these to reach now, I've got 1 and 2 from the front connector. So, there's 2. Which one of you is going to be the longest? I think 4 is the longest here, so I've got 1 more drive to catch right there. I thought I was going to have to like rearrange the drives, but it's just a matter of getting the cables to go to whichever one they want to reach. Oh, so close. Like a ½ inch shy there. Maybe do you know? That one reaches. There we go. It's pulled tight, but hey, reach is a reach. Now these are all plugged in all kinds of screwy orders. I was hoping I would be able to go P1A, P1B, P2, or P1A, P2A, P3A, you know, if assuming that this connector is A and this connector is B, and we go 1A, 1B on the way down. But the cables are just barely long enough in this massive case. I'm just going to have to plug them wherever they'll fit. So be it. And I'm just glad they fit at all. You know, I'm going to try a little rearranging here. This one is pulled really tight and I don't really feel comfortable with that. So if I could move that drive to here, let's see. Yes, it would reach there very comfortably. So that is what I will do. So I'm moving my 4 terabyte drive and I'm swapping it with the 250 gig. So the 4 terabyte was here, now it's going to be up here. The 250 was there because I wanted them in a row, but now it turns out it's better over here because the short cables will reach. The 4 terabyte is on the motherboard's native controller, so I've got much shorter distance to run the cables from there. Now, the 4 terabyte drive, power, and data. There we go. It's using these orange cables. The other one goes out here, but I will do that next. Okay, so I'll plug power into the 250. And here's the last cable for the RAID controller. There we go. That's P1 on the front connector actually. So, but it reaches very nicely. Now I don't have any cables pulled tight. This is like, these two are my tightest cables, but they're not that bad. It might be even better if I move these around. I'll put that one there, and this one can go here. There we go. Now I got even less tension on them. This is my tightest one, and it's still got some slack. Cool. One of those few times where a really long card would have been handy if it could have put the connectors all the way at the end. But this will do. And finally, I just have to tuck all of these cables up in here. I got this. This is my second 4 terabyte drive that is just kind of hanging out because I'm out of drive bays.